Hey guys, we're back for another installment of the Ritual Crafting series, and we're almost done actually. We've made pretty much all of the decisions that we're going to make, except one important one, when we are going to do our ritual. We did a lot of astrological correspondence research in the last video, with the mentions of the moon and the moon phase and the time of the year and all sorts of other stuff. That's all very important to decide when you're going to do your ritual. But you can't put unrealistic expectations on yourself when you're going to do your ritual. For example, if you live with roommates, it can be hard to get them to agree to be quiet for the duration of your ritual. Even if you live with a group of pagans, sometimes things get out of hand. It's really not their fault. It's not usually like they're trying to be horribly inconvenient, although in some cases in my past that has been the case. But that's another story. So you need to figure out if you can realistically do a ritual with other people at home. If not, figure out a time when they're going to be out that might still work with the correspondences that you've done research for. Find a babysitter if that's necessary. Send pets other places to minimize distractions, etc. But it's not just the outside distractions that you need to consider as well, although there are more of them that I'm going to get to in a second. You need to consider your physical health. If you're sick, you're probably not going to perform well in your ritual. You're not going to raise energy well, you're not going to be focused, you're just not going to feel right. So you might not want to do a ritual like a dedication ritual. You might do a healing rite or something like that when you're sick, and that's pretty fine, but if you're doing something with serious energy that needs to be raised especially, I would put it off, or something as important to you as dedication should be. So that's something I would not do when I was sick. I would also, ladies, consider your cycle. Some people really prefer doing rituals when they're menstruating because you do raise energy much more potently. You are at the peak of your power. However, if you have certain ailments like endometriosis or PMDD or something like that, you might not be able to do a ritual when you are menstruating. It might be too painful, you might not feel well, you might get dizzy, your mood might be imbalanced. So if you have things like that, you probably don't want to do a ritual during that period of time, or at least not for the first few days. So just because books automatically will tell you that you should do rituals when you're menstruating, you need to consider your personal situation in addition to that. You also need to make a list of any other external factors other than people and pets that could be distracting during a ritual. If you live near train tracks, if you have some sort of schedule for that, or if you live near where they test the sirens, like the emergency alert sirens, or things like that that are on a schedule, those are good things to know so that you're not casting a circle and you're right in your ritual mindset and then it's the first Wednesday of the month and the sirens go off or something. You also need to consider if you're doing it outside, if you want to really do it at dusk or so, or around there because of like bugs, mosquitoes, and things like that. If people are going to be walking through where you're going to be doing your outdoor ritual, just lots of things to consider. So I find it easier to make a list of all the distractions that could occur and figure out how best to circumvent them after I'm finished. Go back to the list that we made way back when, in like the third episode, of things that you're going to need. You should have continued that list as you were moving through, and you have a list of tools that you'll need, a list of other materials, so that you can get them ready. If you have to make any of them, do that. If you have to purify any of them, allot time for that as well. There's another video about purification back there too. You just need to figure out exactly what you're going to need and lay it all out. Make sure you have everything after you've decided when and where to do your ritual. Then you are basically ready. You're good to go for your ritual. There are other things that you're going to need to do, but we've pretty much discussed them. I was going to make entire videos about them, But we discussed purifying the space in some other of my videos. We've discussed the ritual bath. So unless you're making things for those, like if you're making special cleansers, like natural cleansers, things with oils or herbs or whatever that you're using just to cleanse your space, you're good to go. Unless you're making some sort of scrub for your ritual bath, some sort of oil, whatever. If you're anointing candles and things like that, that's another thing. But I have faith that you guys can do that by yourself, and I don't really need to cover it all because it's going to be different for every person and it'd be difficult for me to do a video about it anyway. So if you feel it's necessary to use something in your ritual bath, go ahead. If you feel it's necessary to make a specific cleanser for your space, go ahead. If you feel it's necessary to make certain tools for your ritual, again. So I am going to cut off my ritual crafting series earlier than I thought because I've covered a lot of stuff, and I will probably eventually do videos about making certain cleansers for your space and making things to go in your ritual bath, but those will be different videos because I'm probably going to show a variety of things that you can use. So that would just make my ritual crafting series ungodly long, and I know it's already really freaking long, and the attention span of YouTube is about 0.5 seconds. So I think if anyone else has any questions, they can just send me a message. It's over. Wow. I'm still gonna probably make a few videos before I go on vacation. I'm probably gonna make some other ones today, actually, because it's gonna be quite a while that I'm on vacation. I'm gonna be gone for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. So I'll let you guys know right before I leave. And I don't think I'm going to have internet for at least a week and a half because we're going to be in the middle of freaking nowhere. So that'll be fun for me, but I'll feel bad about not getting back to you guys in a timely manner. Anyway, ritual crafting, done.